Will the FCC's denial of SpaceX Starlink's funding widen the digital divide? Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of misty morning and focus. That combination, that zing, the bergamot. It's so good, guys, so good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a tech day. Today is a follow-up on a previous video that I did about Starlink. And it was about the FCC denying Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink an award for just under $1 billion, a subsidy to basically help, let's say, bridge the digital divide, to get rural America all connected with broadband, because we know a lot of us out in rural America do not have access to broadband. And there's been a ton of telcos out there that have been getting subsidies for decades and have done basically nothing. So Elon Musk, SpaceX Starlink, now has a new superhero, let's say, in the mix, a commissioner that is going to bat for them and is trying to hold the FCC accountable for their actions. And there was an article that I was reading about this issue, and this article took me down a whole bunch of side streets and whatnot and alleys, and I ended up finding the actual letter that Commissioner Carr, Brandon Carr, sent to the FCC. So I want to read this to you. It's a little bit lengthy, so bear with me. If you want to skip through it, that's fine. But I think it is very important to get an overall look at the situation. Sometimes we get so engrossed in something, we can't see the forest for the trees, right? So this gives a little bit more detail of what has been going on behind the scenes, and maybe will give you thought, or at least pause, to what has been going on and why is it that SpaceX is not getting the funding that a lot of these other telcos have been getting. So let me get into this, and I want to know your thoughts on this because I think it is very important. If you're in rural America and you have absolute crap service or no service at all, and you've gotten SpaceX Starlink and you're like, oh my God, this is like the next best thing since sliced bread. Well, we're in the exact same camp, let's say. So you know where I'm coming from. Once again, I am not a fanboy, all right? I'm not going to say this is the best service on earth because I'm not. I'm going to tell you all of its flaws also, but I am a fan of the service because it is so far doing a really good job for what it is. So let me get into this article, and once again, I want to get your thoughts on it. I was surprised to find out by an FCC press release issued earlier this month that the agency leadership had suddenly reversed course on an $885 million infrastructure award that Elon Musk Starlink won in 2020 to provide high-speed internet service to unconnected Americans. The agency's decision here mirrors the administration's broader set of infrastructure missteps by costing taxpayer dollars while leaving rural communities behind. As an initial matter, this is a very curious outcome because the reasons the agency offers for backtracking on this infrastructure decision do not withstand even casual scrutiny. Indeed, the reversal constitutes a clear error and plainly exceeds agency authority. First, the FCC's announcement claims that the agency is acting to, quote, avoid extensive delay in providing needed service to rural areas. Yet, that is exactly the outcome that this decision ensures. The FCC's 2020 award to Starlink secured a commitment for the delivery of high-speed internet service to 642,925 unserved rural homes and businesses across 35 states. By reversing course, the FCC has just chosen to vaporize that commitment and replace it with nothing. That is a decision to leave families waiting on the wrong side of the digital divide when we have the technology to get them high-speed service today. Once again, that digital divide, the haves and have-nots, the folks out there that have high-speed internet access and the folks that don't. Second, the agency's decision to cast aspersion on Starlink's system in turning heels on the Commission's 2020 award, calling the technology, quote, risky and still developing. But those arguments do not bear out. To start out, The one set of speed test data the FCC cites showing that Starlink speeds have increased significantly year over year, not decreased over that time period. And in any event, the relevant speed benchmark that the full commission imposed in 2020 on Starlink and all other infrastructure award winners do not kick in for another 3 years. Interesting. I talked to you guys about speeds, and maybe speeds was an issue. And obviously, according to this, speed is not an issue because that watermark doesn't hold true or does not get implemented for another 3 years. It continues, particularly given the speed Starlink is already offering and the pace in which it continues to launch satellites, the FCC's decision offers no reasonable basis for determining that Starlink was incapable of meeting its regulatory obligations. In fact, Starlink is already exceeding those benchmark speeds in other countries where their service are online. Indeed, the skepticism the FCC expressed here is odd because it is in direct conflict with the confidence expressed by other components of the federal government, including the Air Force, which has just inked a nearly $2 million deal with Starlink to deliver high-speed internet service to military bases. In the end, this action reads as an untimely and improper effort to revisit the full Commission's 2020 decision to allow satellite providers to compete for awards rather than the limited review authorized. Third, the agency cites Starlink's price point in denying it this Universal Service Award. Yet, right now, the FCC is providing Universal Service Award for far slower internet services that cost consumers far more. Indeed, when I learned about the FCC's decision while on a work trip to Alaska, I heard from residents that they were paying hundreds of dollars every single month for services supported by the FCC's Universal Service Award that delivered speeds less than 1/10 of Starlink's. Moreover, the 2020 Commission level decision governing the Starlink award and similar ones did not authorize staff to deny a winning bid based on equipment price point consideration, let alone based on an arbitrary one selected applied to one winner. As such, the denial here is without lawful basis. Fourth, this agency's decision will hit taxpayers in their pocketbook. To the extent the federal government ever makes another commitment to serve these communities, it will cost us orders of magnitude more money to do so. Indeed, while the Commission's 2020 award secured a deal to bring high-speed service to all of these areas for $885 million in support, extending high-speed fiber lines to these same areas will likely cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 billion. Based on past bidding patterns and analysis, more once you account for inflation. The problems compound from there. After all, there is a limited pot of federal infrastructure dollars, and we are now far more likely to exhaust those resources before getting every American connected. More broadly, though, this decision reflects many of the same missteps that the administration has been making as it implements federal broadband infrastructure programs. We should correct course, adopt a technology-neutral approach, and in doing so, ensure that we prioritize the needs of Americans that remain unserved today. Once again, bridging that digital divide. So, we see that Commissioner Carr is obviously on the side of SpaceX Starlink with making this very, very detailed report, let's call it, this letter to the FCC. And when we look at it, it is very apparent, at least to me, what is going on. The FCC, the government, the powers that be are not very happy with Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not one of those guys that kind of mince his words, and sometimes he can be a little bit abrasive, let's say. But the fact of the matter is he's actually doing something good. The telcos have been given billions of dollars by the FCC to help bridge this digital divide, and they have done crap to do so, all right? The amount of fiber that we see everywhere is so minuscule to the amount of money that they've been getting. And in my last video, I highlighted something about what AT&T was doing and where they were running fiber to like mobile home parks and whatnot, where the people there were very close together. So they were able to run fiber to, let's say, 500 homes, so to speak. But the people there were not getting service because they couldn't afford fiber access. They were worrying about food and keeping the lights on, not about high-speed internet access. But AT&T getting those awards had to do something. And by doing that, they can show more people are being connected, even though more people are not connecting. All right? It's all one big farce. All right? It's a farce. And what Elon Musk is doing here is not a farce. He's been connecting a lot of rural America, and not just rural America, the world, okay, with high-speed internet access that has never had it before. That is not what we've been seeing the telcos doing in the last 10, 20 years with all of this funding. Once again, they've done next to nothing. Perfect example. My community, if you go and look up my location, it will say fiber coming. The problem is, if you went to the site and looked to see if high speed was coming to this location, it says the exact same thing for 12 years. Honest to God truth. 12 years. The exact same thing. Fiber's coming soon to your location. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is a bunch of bullshit. All right? And I think a lot of us here in rural America see the exact same thing. They can see fiber literally 500 feet away, but they won't finish that last mile to them. All right? That fiber to the home is just not there. That FTTH, so to speak, is just not available. They don't do it because it is not cost effective for them. Long story short, I am really encouraged by what Carr is saying here. Now, don't get this twisted. This is not a political statement here. Now, he is on the right. I'm personally on the neutral, all right? I'm not left or right. I'm just, let's say, a party that has always been independent and just looks for someone that has some sense, all right? I don't care which side you're on. If you have some freaking common sense, I'm on your side. And this has sense behind it. And what the FCC has been doing has no sense behind it. That to me, when I look at it, it just feels so politically entrenched, and it really shouldn't be. It should be about us, not politics, not about the upper echelons. It should be about us. And I feel like a lot of times, especially today, it's not about us anymore. And it's sad. It's damn sad. Anyways, I want to know your thoughts. You know my rant here, what I think. I hope, in my personal opinion, SpaceX Starlink is granted this just under $1 billion to help broaden the scope and increase speeds that we're getting and reliability and everything else that goes into it, because we know the telcos aren't going to do it. Period. End of story. What do you think? I want to know your thoughts. In the comment area below this video, put those thoughts. Let's have this discussion back and forth. If you want to know any of the products, I know a lot of the people have been asking me, what are you using with SpaceX Starlink setup? I've had this set up now for about 9-10 months. In the description below this video, I will put a list of all of the different products that I'm using to have Starlink, let's say, running the absolute best that it can. All right. And if you want more information about how I built this whole setup here, I put together this SpaceX Starlink playlist. Go check that out. There's about 70 plus videos there. Go check it out. A lot of helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do, what to buy, what not to buy, why not to buy it, which is even more important. Like you guys know, this channel is all about not the how, but always the why, because the why is definitely a hell of a lot more important than the how. You need both, but why is critical. This way you can use the information no matter which way you go. Anyways, once again, below, put those comments. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as of yet, please do so. Click this little bell icon over here, so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you will be notified of it immediately. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.